fantastic to have Kevin Bath here from Gym Jams, somebody we had supported and continue to have in the X-Forces family back in, I think it's 2015 when you first started out, Kevin. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about your business, and then we'll go back and talk about what inspired you.
Okay.
So what do you do?
We supply no added sugar chocolate spreads and other chocolate products. So no added sugar. We don't add any refined sugar in our products. And we sell them in major retailers. So
Yeah.
that's kind of in a nutshell what we do is sell no added sugar chocolate products.
And it's absolutely about, we know that young people and even, adults and, myself included, I love chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we've got something on the shelves that is the healthy option, what actually inspired you to do that? Where did this idea actually come from?
Actually, the children inspired me and my wife when we was having pancakes on Saturday morning. We had the leading brand of chocolate spread on the table, putting chocolate spread on the pancakes.
Yeah.
We kind of I glimpsed at the side of the jar
Yeah.
and noticed it had 58 grams of sugar per 100,
Right.
and had to double take that because
Yeah.
that's nearly 60% sugar in a jar of
Yeah.
chocolate spread, which is quite shocking.
Yeah.
So we kind of looked at it, worked it out in our heads, and
Yeah.
57 sugar cubes that equates to 57 sugar cubes in a standard size jar of chocolate spread, which is quite horrific.
Yeah, and I didn't know about that until
No.
I actually met you,
No.
and that was the that you inspired us as well.
Yeah.
To be honest, we had no idea. So let me take you even further back. You're ex-Navy.
I'm ex-Royal Navy, yeah.
Yeah. So how does Kevin from ex-Royal Navy transition out and decide that is going to have the best sugar-free or low sugar, shall we say, chocolate spread? What was it about being in the forces that actually has helped you with the business? But tell me a little bit about your transition.
Oh, it's such an easy transition. You can see from Royal Navy to chocolate spread, it just smooths so seamlessly, doesn't it? I think the main thing when you're running your own business, it's that inner drive. I think that's what I was taught in the forces, to that inner drive and self-belief. And you can't shirk your responsibilities in the Navy. Someone tells you what to do, or in the armed forces, someone tells you what to do and go and do it. You've obviously got to go and do it. You can't shirk that responsibility. And I suppose that's kind of subconsciously gone in, and then that inner drive to succeed. And even funny enough, I was saying this the other day to someone about even basic training when they said they're joining, you see it on the movies and like going through the SALT courses and you just, basic training, you just want to get out as quick as possible, no backlash, or just get through that first period of the forces. So it's in the drive to succeed and get out, and just hungry and get out of that bit, and then go into your trading and enjoy your career. So it's just that inner drive to succeed, really.
So how long did you serve for?
6 years.
6 years.
6 years in the Royal Navy.
And when you came out, is that when Gym Jams?
No. I worked in London. I was fortunate enough to be based in Gibraltar for the last 18 months of my career in the Navy. Got cross-trained on, because I was communications. I was joined as a bunting tosser. That's what they were called, flag waver and flashing light and Morse code, and kind of communications. And then I got based in Gibraltar. Got cross-trained onto the IT systems, big tandem mainframes they were called, in the middle of the rock, very state of the art. And and I kind of done a few courses in IT. Really enjoyed that, and I knew that if I stayed in the Navy, I'd be kind of back at sea doing signals, communications, and I really liked the idea of IT. Left the Navy, went into London, worked in London for a while, and then kind of disillusioned with the corporate lifestyle, and it was getting tedious. Working in an office and corporate, and I always felt like in the back of my mind I wanted to work for myself, and do some kind of business. I was looking at different ideas, but when we looked at, so I was kind of like into IT consultancy, then I kind of bit of project management. So I suppose that set me up to kind of go through steps of how to set up a business. But I mean, nothing really.
And it's interesting that we should talk about this, because I mentioned this. I was at the Facebook boost last week actually, and one of the questions that came up is that are we seeing a lot of our armed forces leaving the armed forces and going straight into business ownership? And not necessarily. I think sometimes it is a case of leaving the armed forces and the focus is getting a job, right? And coming out and transitioning, earning an income. And it's only after a period of time and you think, actually, is this right for me? And you start to explore other avenues, whether that's a different career as a job or if it's self-employment. So taking those skills of that you had in the armed forces, and they always teach you, I mean 90% I understand of the time it is all about the training, it's about the discipline, aptitude and overcoming adversity, all of that sort of stuff. Has that helped you in some of the challenging times of your startup phase with Jim Jams?
Yeah, I mean, if anyone's listening to this and obviously they're interested in business or starting their own business, it's difficult. You know, you're not prepared. You think you're prepared to start your own business, and you know naively you think, oh, there's going to be a few bumps in the road, but it's tougher than you know people kind of seem to think.
Yeah.
But yeah, those. That's why then you get the mental challenges, and sometimes you go, you have enough, and then there's like a little shining light, or you get an email to say, I'm so glad you introduced Jim Jams. My boys have got ADHD, or and he loves chocolate spread, but the sugar content was ridiculous, so we brought this, and he loves chocolate spread, won't touch anything else apart from Jim Jams.
Perfect.
And it's really strange because you get them emails when it's the days when you're feeling really low or thinking you need thick skin, especially talking to the retailers. And you know, you think it's a no-brainer. You know, you think go to a supermarket. We come up with a concept, and it was bingo, like a light bulb moment, as people say. It's my wife was toying with the idea. We're doing a little bit of research about chocolate spread. We noticed the research I saw was that the biggest consumer of chocolate spreads are children. Yeah. And you seem to think, well, you go into a supermarket, and every single one is 60% sugar. Yeah. There's something wrong there. Yeah. So we realised there was a gap in the market back in 2015, and we launched our own brand. And that's why Jim Jams was born. Yeah. So yeah, went off track there.
So no, not at all. Because this brings me nicely into the fact that I think you and Kelly, your wife, started. And then there was a point where you wanted to look at funding. Yeah. And was there a particular reason? Was there a need for what was the need for that funding? Because you'd already started, yeah.
Yeah, it was my gambling addiction. No, I'm joking. No, it was basically we had a little bit of savings to create the product and the branding. Yeah. But then we had to put in a big order. One of the challenges when you start a business is, especially a product that you want to outsource and you get a manufacturer, you've got to kind of find that right balance with a manufacturer. Yeah. Some are too small, so it could I'm ambitious, and that's probably in the drive again. Yeah. And I always thought that Jim Jams, when Kelly said the name Jim Jams, he was talking about the idea Jim Jams bingo. Yeah. That was it. It was a light bulb. That's going to work. I love that name. Really quick recall. So we was looking at different manufacturers, and I always felt that the end game was to get into supermarkets. Yes. Because obviously you got to earn a living, and that's the only way you're going to earn a living is to sell a lot of chocolate spread. You need to sell a lot of chocolate spread to earn as much money I was earning in London. Yeah, of course. Or even the Royal Navy. Yeah. So we looked at different manufacturers, and some are too small. Yeah. And because of the product we chose, yes. I mean, for instance, say a bakery, if you're using a gluten-free croissants, you're launching a gluten-free croissant, and then there's some good artisan bakeries can do that minimum order, small quantities for you. Then as you scale up, you go to a bigger manufacturer. With chocolate spread, it's very difficult to find a small chocolate spread manufacturer. So we found a large chocolate manufacturer because we like taking big gambles, but the minimum orders were quite large. Right. But they were the best. We kind of got we come up with the recipe. Yeah. Got loads of different kind of samples from different manufacturers. We got all the friends and family and the kids, because kids are the most brutally honest about taste, and we need absolutely. I remember you telling me about that. Actually, getting your competition was around the
the kids actually doing
Yeah.
doing your sampling for you, which sounds amazing.
Yeah, the kids were the kind of major voters really. So we said what the kids, all my friends come around and brought the children, and they were tasting it, and the kids were pointing to the same kind of white label jar, saying this one. So you can't ignore that. So so you contact the manufacturer, but it's a big manufacturer.
Yeah.
In Europe, flew out to Europe,
Right.
presented the vision, the aim, the goal of Jim Jams. They loved it, loved the idea. They hadn't done a recipe like that before, and jumped on board with it. But it was a big initial minimal. They supported us with a smaller order to start with.
Yeah.
To get us going, but then they said, look, this is your first, but we need to get 6 tons of chocolate, which is a lot.
Yeah. And that's when
we needed the money for a...
Right, okay. So did you go to a traditional banking lender?
Yeah.
Did you explore some of that as well, Kevin?
Yeah. We banked with a high street bank, business banking, and that's when you kind of really realise when the banks don't lend money.
Yeah.
They don't, unless it's a sure thing. I can understand with Black Wednesday, whatever it was, a while ago now, but it's still frustrating when you think you champion business on these adverts.
Yeah.
Small businesses have to go to Ex-Forces startup loans, etc., to get that initial funding. Banks seem to be
it brings me up nicely onto, we did an interview this morning actually with Lord Young, who sends his very best as well, because you've been an ambassador for the startup loans, the product's been in the startup loans company, so you're a little bit of a poster boy for some of our partners. But the importance of this scheme is so that individuals who, like yourself, have taken as much forward as you can, whether that's with savings or the bank of mum and dad, and if you've got the privilege of that and all of that sort of stuff, is to be able to still be able to get some form of finance, which doesn't mean that you've got to go and then put your house on the line and all the risks that are associated with that. And also you've got the added thing about credit history for the armed forces isn't necessarily the case that it's bad, it's just non-existent. So with all of those things, and that's where it's been championed. However, I always say that finance is important and it's an enabler, but it's not the be all and end all. One of the things that we've tried to support our Ex-Forces businesses on is around connections, and that's another reason why we wanted you to come back in again, because we've had the situation whereby you've been a keynote speaker at the House of Lords, you've met a couple of high profile corporate organisations. We want to do that sort of stuff to the next stage for you as well. But tell us, did that make a difference, and does that make a difference for people like yourself who want to just break through those next glass ceilings?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, Ex-Forces has been a great help for us, networking, and we've had a couple of connections on the networking side, and it's kind of enabled us to go into the food service side of the business as well. So it's smaller little packs here, the little so there's a couple of connections that I spoke to regarding B&I, business and industry. Great. Look at me, 4 years ago I wouldn't even know what B&I and would mean. Ex-Forces, like I say, with that initial loan, it kind of give us that leap of faith, that kind of nudge to get on with it, to kind of get lenders. You lent us that £25,000, which is getting that getting that first order, and then getting us into the retail, which that was the first step, that's the biggest step for us.
So, knowing what you know now, would you have done things differently? Are there things that you think, actually I wish I'd done that differently?
There are certain aspects you kind of you look back and you feel, we've done a couple of rebrands initially, and because I had savings, I was kind of putting my money into the design team. But what I would say is, when you get alarm bells and that gut instinct is listen to your gut instinct, because there was these design agents we first went to, and they kept ringing me up and saying, what do you actually want? I said, well, Jim Jams, play on words, stripe your label, pocket, button, let's do it fun.
Yeah.
You know, more, not kid, we didn't want it to make it too kid friendly, we wanted it, because it's a nostalgic name for your pyjamas.
Yeah.
So it's not just a kid product, it's just a playful brand.
Absolutely.
So when a design agency is ringing you up saying, what do you actually want to see on this? I said, well, I gave you a brief.
Yeah.
And then the alarm bell started ringing then, thinking, why do you keep ringing me up for inspiration? I've told you, can you just give me a couple of concepts, would be nice. And then it come back, I mean, Jack, my 8-year-old boy, could have probably done a better branding.
Bless you.
But and then you kind of, but I stuck with them.
Yeah.
And then you kind of like extra. So it's spending extra time and extra money on a certain part of your business that you don't need to. You know, you kind of think if the alarm bells ring, move, get some advice from someone.
Yeah.
For another design agency, for instance, or whatever this manufacturer's not great, this storage or distribution company, alarm bells are ringing here.
Yeah.
Just pick the phone up and advise. You know, there's plenty of people to advise you and have been through it.
So I want to ask you a little bit about your family and the impact that it's had on Kelly, and you've got 2 children?
2 children.
2 children. How old are they, if you don't mind me asking now?
Evie's 13, going on 16, as the girls are now.
Yeah.
Jack is 9.
Yeah. Right, so I've seen this amazing picture of Kevin, his wife, and the 2 kids when you did a lot of promotion right at the beginning.
Right.
No.
Which one?
Yeah.
Am I in it?
Yes.
It can't be amazing if I'm in it.
Right, so you. Shall we start that again? There's a picture of you and Kelly and the kids at the table.
Oh yeah, there's 4 of us at the table.
Right.
We have done a few pictures, right?
Okay, can I start that one again?
What are you leading to?
I'm leaning to how the kids, how have they grown up with the business over the last couple of years, and you know, from you working probably all the hours God sent. Yeah. To now being able to be proud of
and
something.
still working all the hours God send.
And still, okay, right. Can we get that one again? Okay. So you're going to do the 3, 2, 1. Okay. Kevin, your wife Kelly has been involved, and your 2 children have been involved from day dot, and I've seen some amazing pictures that we've used in the early days with the promotion.
Yeah.
And how has it really impacted the family, as in, they must be so proud of you, and they get to eat this amazing product as well. So are you around the kids more, you know, being able to work? How does the family home work?
I mean, that's the most positive thing. When I was working in London, it was especially this time of year when the clocks have gone back.
Yeah.
Go to work in the dark at 5, get back at 7, dark. The kids are just about to go to bed. Now, I'll get roped into school runs and stuff like that, which isn't the best. But maybe I should work back in London. No, it's been fantastic.
Good.
With regards to them being proud of us, or I think you'd ask any parent that are running the business, they probably don't really. Well, they do understand, but they probably don't care. They probably don't think, look at my mum and dad. I think
they probably don't tell you.
Probably don't tell you. The one thing actually, we was in Sainsbury's a couple of months ago, and Jack, we was walking along, and Jack kind of glimpsed and saw Jim Jams on the shelf, and he went, "Are you and Mummy famous?" And he was kind of really shocked to see it on the shelf. I mean, he has been in there for a couple of years, so he's not very observant. But he doesn't go shopping a lot.
Well, you know what? We still have that. So whenever we've gone into the store and we've seen, you know, any of our beneficiaries' products, but Jim Jams really does stand out, and you've got an incredible name, as you already know. We've spoken about.
That's my wife.
So
she's the brains behind that.
Absolutely, you know. So I think it is a sense of pride to know that you know the hard work, and clearly it's been a lot of hard work. I mean, has that eased off a little bit yet, or are you still working around the clock?
I wouldn't say working. I think that what I did do, and like you said before, and asked the question before, what I would do differently, I wouldn't. When you first start business, it's 24 hours in your head. and I was advised by someone just after 5 o'clock or half 5.
Yeah.
Switch off. That's really difficult to do when you're
Yeah.
first starting because you're heart and soul's into it. Now I try to, kind of step back at half 5 and just go, no, that
Right.
you know, PC off, and then I'll get a phone call.
Yeah.
But
A big order.
yeah, big order. Then back on.
Yeah.
No, but I'll try to kind of distinguish. I mean, I still do the food shows. I still love meeting
Yes.
the public and chatting to the public, and it's great because when you first launch, never heard of it. I mean, people still say never heard of it. But you
Yeah.
get more and more people at the BBC Good Food shows, or I don't know, Cake and Bake show will say, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard of that, and it's nice when you
Yeah.
see it, and and people, oh yeah, I've heard of that, and
So,
it's good when
first
you-
of all, it's great that we've got this product, and it is a product that actually so many people love. There's another thing which is about the health side of it, and I think really sort of, if there was something that we would love to do, is make sure that we're pushing that side of it, because there's been a lot in the press and in the media. We're talking about health for young people in particular, with schools and all of that sort of stuff. So if that's one thing that we could support, is also the health side of product, I think that's really important. But if there was something that we could help you with in terms of taking your business to that next level, what would that be, Kevin? If there was something that we could support you with,
I
because
think
now's the chance to.
I think it is. I think it is the schools. I think that's the thing. I mean, Jamie Oliver's done a hell of a lot for school dinners, for healthier school dinners. You ask my daughter and my son and say, you've had your school dinner, what do you have for dessert?
Yeah.
And they say, we have a choice of an apple or a chocolate muffin.
Yeah.
And a child on their own 5 days a week, I would probably choose a chocolate muffin 5 days a week, and that kind of defeats the object. That chocolate muffin's full of sugar.
Yeah.
Now with our chocolate spread, you can melt that down, and you might have seen on our website, there's loads of recipes on our website, so you can make no added sugar chocolate muffins for kids in schools for us. Now we have pigeon steps. We've been introducing our products to food service. So there's a couple of school caterers. There's called Nourish School Catering.
Yeah.
I think they're in Cambridge.
Right.
Sorry,
Okay.
Cambridge, Essex. That use our product. It's gone on the school menu from September this year.
Oh, brilliant.
They do a no sugar chocolate dessert. I mean, I've gone to. You say I don't. I tried to switch off, and I was in a well-known pizza restaurant, and they had a Nutella dessert aimed at children. So I kind of went on to LinkedIn, find out the pizza company's buyer, procurement manager, went to them and said, look, you could be the first high street chain of restaurants to offer a no added sugar chocolate dessert to kids.
Right.
But my wife, she'll go to a pizza and she'll have a pizza light.
Yeah.
But in the dessert, she won't even bother looking at the dessert menu because they're all going to be full of sugar.
Yeah.
We would like to offer a no added sugar chocolate. I mean, that's more restaurants, but for schools.
Yeah, but you know what? Why not? Why not do the schools? But why not also let's debut something like this in a restaurant chain as well.
I don't see what I mean. And the thing is, that's the frustrating thing. And the more and more when you kind of delve deeper into when we started this brand, you felt, okay, I want normal families. That's why they're not premium products. They're just actually priced a little bit cheaper than the leading brands of chocolate spread. So we wanted them to be fully accessible. We didn't want them to be £5 a jar and be no added sugar. So it's got to be premium. We wanted it to be accessible to every supermarket and every family.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating when you do get certain buyers will say, don't get it. And you go, well, you've got chocolate. It's even the frustrating thing to me now is school approved.
Yeah.
The school approved stuff. They'll say to me, I mean, this chocolate dipper is fully school compliant. The only thing in there is cocoa powder and a natural sweetener. This natural sweetener comes from a plant-based sweetener.
Right. Okay.
So it's 100% natural, plant-based ingredients. School approved have got a certain hot chocolate. Right? Hot chocolate is approved for schools.
Yeah.
Hot chocolate, cocoa powder, cocoa powder, and 60% sugar. Kids can have that. Right. This is a natural sweetener, and it's
The whole world needs to know about this.
You can't. And then you'll say, and then I'll say, well, what about the chocolate, the milk chocolate? I can understand the hazelnut because of nuts. The milk chocolate's got no nuts. Put that in plop a bit of that in a kid's porridge in the morning. Nice healthy porridge, slow releasing carbohydrates, healthy for a kid in the morning. Just stir it into a porridge. A child will eat a chocolate porridge. So put a bit of jam in there. Yeah. That's 60% sugar.
Yeah.
So, and they let jam in the schools. So it's educate. It's weird saying it. It's educating the schools, which is a bit ironic.
Yeah. And I think, this is the purpose of some of these podcasts as well, Kevin, because what we want to do is get that message out there. It's not just, this is great to support because, it's Jim Jams and it's an X-Forces business, but actually this has got a moral obligation behind it as well. So it's really important to be able to do that. Now I want to ask you a slightly different question now. And you've led the way, as many of our other beneficiaries have, and started your own business, and you've got some traction out there, which is awesome. I'm really proud of you. And there's new people joining all the time, with something like starting up 25 businesses and sometimes a little bit more a month. What advice would you give them that has really helped you? Is it about the network? Is it about, your red lines around, you mentioned about family? What would be a bit of advice that you would give to others who are embarking on the self-employment journey?
I think if you start a business, you've got to really believe in what you're trying to sell, really champion that product. If you don't believe in it, then you're going to self-doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason I keep going is because I believe in the product. I believe there's still scope for it to grow. I think the main thing is to really believe in your product, and also to what's the word I'm looking for? It's gone. I'm gone. Stop that. Start that.
So
I've got it written down. Oh, that's it. Identify. That's it.
Yeah. Shall we do that one again?
Yeah.
Okay. What did I say? Okay.
Well, don't worry about you. I can answer, can I?
Right. Yeah.
You what advice?
Yeah. So basically, shall I do my bit as well? Okay. So Kevin, you've really been amazing, and I don't just say that, half-heartedly. To have anybody who's embarked on a self-employment journey with the aspiration that you've got and had, not coming from a business background, and just persevered with that, and also created the momentum that you have. There's about 25 to 30 new startups that are being created each month with XF, sometimes a little bit more. And what would it be? What advice would you give to them that's held you in good stead in terms of taking that journey?
Well, I think you need to make sure you really believe in the product you're trying to sell, or whatever you're doing. Champion that and really believe it. Like we mentioned, we're championing tooth decay in children and child obesity. So we're championing and really believe and passionate about that. But you need to really believe in your own product you're selling. Also, identify your target consumer.
Yeah.
Just bullseye direct on your target consumer, and then it's really weird because I was told that drill down on your target consumers. For instance, ours is mums with children that are buying the leading brands of chocolate spread. Tastes exactly the same. So you can have a little taste in it, and I know you have before, but
you can never have too much Jim Jams.
No, you can have 83 jars more because it's 83% less sugar. You see, so.
Exactly.
But you can target your audience. But we targeted mums with children.
Yeah.
But really strangely, when you kind of target, it kind of expands. I didn't appreciate the health and fitness people. We got on Instagram with organically grown with pancake stacks because it takes longer to burn off sugar when you're exercising.
Right.
There's no sugar, so obviously you're getting that chocolate fix, but without all the sugar. Then we've got the little pillbacks that so Slim and Wellness Weight Watchers.
Oh, fantastic!
Jumped on it.
Yeah.
So we've kind of done we send these to Slimwell consultants because they're half the smart points and half the sins, whatever that means.
Oh, fantastic! So yeah.
Yeah. So you kind of identify your target audience, but then do you get things?
Well, I can almost because on our podcasts and vlogs, there's a lot of women that are actually the listeners to it as well. Right. So to be able to get this out there, but also to get this out there for the procurement teams that are actually doing the purchasing. And I suppose we're not just talking about big retailers here, although it would be that would be a goal. I would love to see your product in the high street and across retailers, but I think it's much wider than that as well. I think if we can get people to understand it a little bit more within an educational perspective, and actually at the end of the day, we're buying for our children, so I think it's about educating us as well. So I'm going to ask you a final question. And okay, so in terms of vision for Jim Jams, where do you see that vision? Do you see it beyond the UK? Do you see it what would that look like? Yeah,
it would be nice. I mean, funny enough, we have started exporting to the US.
Okay, great.
And the distributor has got connections within Disney.
Okay.
So these little pots would be great to be in Disney. Then if you get into the States, and it'll take the brand to the whole next level. Yeah. I mean, we are in retail. You say it'd be good to see these in retail, but when we launched into Morrison's.
Yes.
Holland and Barrett. And that Holland and Barrett and Whole Foods as well. So Holland and Barrett and Whole Foods kind of gives it that kind of concrete stamp of approval from the health retailers.
Great.
Sainsbury's, doing very well in Sainsbury's, and we've got the dippers into Tesco's. Tesco's is flying. Just one more. Our Waitrose, the chocolate spreads launched into Waitrose. My goal. I was looking at some old notes actually, and one of my goals for last year was to get into Waitrose, and we've achieved that, which is fantastic. Yeah. So
what would you what advice would you give to others who are thinking about their journey into retail in particular?
I think you need to have a really great unique selling point on your product. I think that's the main to kind of show the retailers that you can bring new customers to the category. Is what we kind of identify.
And I think you're absolutely right, Kevin. I mean, we do talk about this all the time. What is the competitive advantage? I mean, yours is very, very clear, and it's about the sugar, lack of sugar content, and it actually being healthier for you. And I think if there's one thing that we can really pull out from this is that you're always on message. You spoke about it earlier about being focused. You need to have that discipline and focus, but also understand why you're doing what you're doing. So would there be anything else that you'd like to add to get the message out there?
Just go and buy your Jim Jams. No, I don't know to sort of say to that.
Okay, so any other questions? I can see some of them. So
I was going to say, I think you might have touched on that one at the beginning.
Yes, we did.
Did you want to?
Yeah. How much do you think your time in the forces? So
just to bring it back around to the forces, I thought to wrap up.
So okay, let me ask it slightly differently because I sort of asked it how much about the time. So
if maybe something like if you were still in the forces and transitioning out in the near future.
So let me I've got it. Okay. Right. So can we do the 3, 2, 1? Okay. So we've been doing a little bit of work with actually Sandhurst around some research, Kevin, and the research is actually, if you think about 3 pots, okay, one of them is about the skills and attributes that have been taught in the armed forces, and then you've got the other end of the spectrum about an entrepreneur. Now, anecdotally, we believe that there are so many similarities between an entrepreneur and also military. So it's about what you've talked about already, the focus, the discipline, the overcoming, all of that sort of good stuff. And what we're looking at doing is actually mapping those two parts with the entrepreneurs that have come out of the ex-Forces Enterprise Beneficiary Group. So if we sort of bring that full circle, what would your opinion be around the time in the forces? Would you say that actually that also stood you in really good stead? I know we spoke about it earlier, but what would be the top couple of things that you think that you've learnt from the military that helps you on a more or less day-to-day basis in your business?
I think that in a drive to succeed, in a drive, is the forefront of my mind. I think.
Yeah.
I think when you're in the forces, you've got that drive to whatever task you've been given. It's kind of instilled in you very early on in your forces career to have that inner drive to succeed at doing that task that you're doing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you might be in trouble.
Yeah. Well, you know what? There's something that is. Well, there's one thing that I've known about you over the years, and you see you pop up in some of the social media feeds and the product in the stores, and we always know that there's Kevin and there's Jim Jams, and there is something that is that nobody else can take away, which is that drive, and you can see that, and that every success to you, to your family, and also to other people who actually like chocolate and want to be healthy.
Thank you very much, Rick.
To you.
Thank you.
So Kevin, we've talked a little bit about the skills and attributes that you were taught in the armed forces, and how you took that out, tried the corporate world. You've always sort of thought about having your own business, came up with a genius idea actually, which is not just about having a good product but also about health as well. I think it's really important for us as part of the ex-forces community that we're always trying to make sure that our beneficiaries have the best platform to be able to communicate with the outside world. And I think it's so important that we're not just talking about actually just the product price, but we've really got to get procurement and nutritionalists to really work together to understand that actually it's not just about price, it's also about consumers, about their health and their well-being, because that's a big sea change now. Would you agree?
Totally agree. I mean, like I said earlier though, we're very competitive on price, so I think it's not, we can kind of compete on price, but it's very difficult when they sit, you've got the massive leading brands, and then you can, that's one of the challenges as well for small businesses, to be heard. In a big, very corporate environments, and they can put a lot of money behind shelf space and a lot of promotion, and we've got to kind of deal with that.
Yeah.
But we are competitively priced, because I know that within food service it's quite a not, I wouldn't say cutthroat, but it's quite price driven. But we're very competitive in pricing.
And what we would like to do is see how we can help promote this chocolate brand, Jim Jams, chocolate spread with a conscience, and let's see how far we can take this so that we can keep people healthy but also support our ex-forces in business. Kevin, I know that there will be different bits of advice at different points of the journey, because what advice you might get 6 months in will be very different to what's required in 2 years after that, and all of that sort of stuff. But one piece of advice, is there something memorable that sticks in your mind?
When we first kind of put the feelers out at the Specialty Fine Food Fair, we kind of launched with a really raw label, and just the basic concept, and we said, well, I kind of googled food shows, Specialty Fine Food Fair. We was thinking of the branding in August, so this was in September. I thought great timing, speciality fine food, that's us. So we kind of pitched up with a few roll up banners, and then I bumped into someone in the cafe the following morning. It was a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, so we'd done the Sunday. The Monday I was having a cup of tea in the cafe before it all opened. Started chatting to someone, didn't know him from Adam, and I said, oh, what do you do? And he said, oh, I used to own Clipper Tea.
Right.
Sold it. Mike Brenham, his name was. Now I know who he was. I didn't at the time because I didn't know anything to do with the food industry. Lucky I didn't know him, but he owned Clipper Tea. He'd sold it, and he said it's, you know, he didn't do it in a kind of cocksure way. He just said, oh, my business is probably worth more than any of these in it. But we was kind of joking around at the time, and I said, oh, he said, what are you doing now? I said, oh, Jim Jams, and he went, you're Jim Jams? I said, yeah. What have I done? And he said, that's great. He said, you've got something there. He said, I come round, it's all kind of bland. You know, walk round the corner, there's these stripes, fun, just Jim Jams. And at the time, the brand was a bit, you know, hit and miss. It was getting there. It was kind of like candy, but he said it's great. Kind of, you've got that fun aspect, and you're not pushing that health message. It's like there on the pack, but you're not in your face, health. It's just making a fan. He said, you're onto something. He said, stick with it.
Yeah. And
that was, I was thinking, and I mean, before going to the show, when we was discussing the product, and when Kelly said Jim Jams, it went bing.
Yeah.
And I felt, I've got to do this, because that name, it just, for some reason in my gut, or wherever it come from, I knew I was going to do it.
Yeah.
And then things kind of, coincidences started happening. After that time, when she came with the name, I started thinking about it. And it was like I was walking into London to work, and I had a tip tree jam. Yeah. And they were giving out little mini. I think they launched the honey at the time, and they were giving out little pots of honey. So I went over and I just said to the woman, there's an older woman, all the youngsters were giving it out. I'll go to the older woman. She's more approachable. She'll tell me all there is to need to know about the jam business. So I kind of went to her and I said, will Tiptree make a jam for me? Yeah. And she went, no chance. I said, no, that's a good start. And she said, however, there's another company on the land that use the same fruit, and they will do we'll talk to you regarding a manufacturing. So I thought, well, that was quite easy. Yeah. So I went to them, my suit on, and then pitched the idea, and they loved it as well. So, and that was kind of my first kind of foray, if you like, into kind of talking to a manufacturer, and I thought actually that wasn't that difficult. It was just chatting, talking, and just seeing how they liked the concept. Yeah. And then it was a great idea, Kevin. And so I thought, well, actually that's good. And that's kind of built up from there. So.
Right. So I would, rolling back, I'd say then it was just came to a point where it was like, you know, just do it.
Basically, to cut a long story short, and I should have just said that, just do it.
Do you know, there comes a point, but it's not right for everybody.
If you start looking at your watch, if you're having trouble sleeping, Ren, just ring me up and I'll tell you one of my Jim Jam stories, and we'll be fine.
Hey, you couldn't call it anything better if it is about, you know,
exactly.
Jim Jams.
See?
But I've got to say,
always in my pajamas.
I've got to say that it is something. There is something in. It comes to a point where it is. Do you know what? I'm just going to go out and do it. So, and I think there's, you know, you're a testament to that, and look where you are now.
Thank you very much. Yeah, look at the state of me. Thank you, Ren.
Thank you.
So we was on the telly.
Excellent.
With my pajamas, which I thought I'd be safe, and all my mates were ringing me up afterwards, giving me a little bit of grief about that. But
hey, if it gets the product out
exactly.
there, do you know what? I'll go and wear a pair of pajamas and help you.
And it worked. So. It worked. I got on the BBC. So
brilliant.
That's great.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.